Well, welcome again, everybody. I'm going to read here our statement of intent. We are fortunate to have a variety of speakers for Sunday services. By using guest speakers, we gain wisdom from all those who share. This is a church where you can worship the God of your own understanding, a place to experience joy and be uplifted, a place where we can gain strength and inspiration to share with all we meet throughout the week. We invite you to join us in this celebration of life, to nourish your spirit and to enjoy the company of kindred souls. And at this time, we're going to sing our opening hymn, which is Let There Be Peace. It's the words are on the white cards in the pews in the hymnals, and it's number 3 in the hymnal if you want. Too high, too low? Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Yanchy will be giving our opening invocation. And there are little white pieces of paper with the words on it.
As from the beginning, God births the world,
Nurtures it and mothers it,
shapes it and fathers it.
fills it with life and right.
All that is green and growing,
All that crawls, flies, swims, walks, or is motionless.
all that speaks, sings, cries, laughs, or is silent.
The earth is God, and God is in the earth.
God is here.
Amen. All right. Thank you, sir. All right, at this time, we're going to sing our first hymn, which is Morning is Broken, number 6 in the hymnal. Morning has broken like the first morning. Bird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Soon the rains will fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, strong in completeness where this week passed. right. Welcome again, everybody. And our speaker today, I'm Sue Brewer, the president of the Board of Trustees, and our speaker today is Yanchy Lacska. I said that right? All right. And his presentation will be about Consider the Flowers. And we have quite a different routine today, so I'm going to leave that all up to him. So there are a few announcements. Obviously, Monday is the Unity Book Group at 6:30 downstairs in the library, and the book is Menus for Impulsive Living, and Carol has a copy of it, so you can kind of see if you want to take a look at the book. Yep. Anyway, Debbie, do you have any more information about the chili cook-off that you want to talk about? Come on up.
No, just that the registration, if you want to enter a chili, is downstairs. You have to have your registration into us by October 12th, but the chili cook-off isn't until the 26th, I think it is. And yes. 25th. Great. Yeah, I don't have my calendar in front of me. And then, yeah, and so, yeah, it's our fundraiser, our fall fundraiser. So everyone please come. There'll be entertainment, and we'll have a great time. So it's a good deal. Yeah, thanks.
All right, we do have a couple of other events coming up before the chili cook-off. One of them is the September 20th. There are flyers for this downstairs. Kimberly and two of her cohorts are going to be doing The Sacred Grove, a soul-centered journey. And for more information, you can pick up the flyer and read through it. That is on the 20th of September from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And so if you want to take a couple of these flyers and put them near where people might see them, please feel free to do so. Also coming up, one of our next speakers is Pam Losasso, and many of you have had readings with her and know her very well. And some of you, this will be your first time maybe, but she is going to be speaking at the end of the month. But in October, she is going to offer classes here. I have the flyer downstairs, and I think I put a sign-up sheet next to it, so if you want to sign up for her classes, do so, please. The first two are going to be about the wheel of predictability, and it's going to be all about that for 2 weeks, because the timing is everything is her mantra. The third session is, you don't have to go to all three, but you can go to two, or you can go to the one, or you can go to all three. The third one is tarot class for beginners. So read through what she's got offered for us, and you can sign up downstairs. Now, the next big thing about signing up is for membership. If you want to be a member of our church, or if you are already, in the fall, we always want to have a little slip of paper saying, yes, I want to continue to be a member, and you give us a donation of a dollar amount of your choice, and there are 3 ways you can do it. Number one, we have our little offering envelopes in the pews and some in the back as well. You can always give us a donation in this envelope during our offertory time, and put on here, yes, I would like this to be towards my membership, or no. Anyway, the other way to do it is this card, support your church, our church, and there are sponsorships or a sustaining membership, monthly membership. So you can fill out the card and say, this is how much I'm going to give each month. You can do it through PayPal. You can do it through putting the money direct deposit, or a lot of different ways, so you can work with the card. There are some cards on the back table as well, I believe. The third way is our old and trusty form. If you are not a member already, this is one way to get started. You just put your name and information on here, how much you're going to donate to become a member, and you hand it in, and you're a member. Pretty simple. So, membership. If you want to be a member of our church, to be a member of our church means you get to vote on the stuff that we talk about at the annual meeting, which is mainly elections. There are 2 seats going to be coming open on the board. So if you are interested in running for one of those positions, one of them is just a board member. The other one is vice president. So if you are inclined at all to run for one of those positions, please let us know. Let any board member know. Okay, so that's enough on politics. Let's move on. Sunday questions. We have started a new little thing where at lunch, people will write down some questions for the next Sunday, and these questions will be discussed after lunch. And these are the questions from last Sunday. Is AI real intelligence? Can it know things humans have not thought of? So contemplate that and your answer for after lunch. Here's number 2. We have 3 this week. Does everyone create their own reality? And number 3, what can I do to further my spiritual journey? So those are today's Sunday questions to think about and talk about when we're done eating lunch. One last interesting thought I thought of for today is that it's Grandparents' Day. Happy Grandparents' Day to anyone who is a grandparent of any kind, whether it be a cat grandparent or whatever. Okay, so, happy Grandparents' Day. And next week, our speaker is going to be Shodo Spring. Now, some of you may know her as Cedar Spring. So if you knew her in the past, you will recognize her immediately. And her topic is going to be opening reality. Does anyone else have any other announcements they'd like to make? Jean.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for the prayers that Jerry got. He had his appendix out. The guy that did his IVs, the anesthesiologist, called me before I put Jerry under, and he said, well, he should be reading this little book, Madeline, because she tells all about having an appendectomy. So anyway.
Madeline, one of my favorites.
Yeah, right. He had a little pus in it, so he was under the weather for a few days. But anyway, he's home, and you can see he's well.
Yay, Jerry! Jerry, you are a great example of how to heal positively. All right, with that in mind, let us read our principles. You'll find the principles on the white card in the hymnal. Is there one in there? There you go. All right. We believe God is the eternal source and creator of all, and is present in everything. Our eternal soul, endowed with free will, grows through many lifetimes. Communication occurs between the physical and spiritual worlds. Prayer and meditation strengthen our connection to the divine. All healing comes from Source. Seeking this for ourselves and compassion for others' suffering is the highest priority. Because we are all one, what we do unto others, we do unto ourselves. The choice of love is always open for every soul. Living these principles leads us to grow in divine love. At this point, speaking of healing, can we have someone bring forward the healing bowl? If you have any intentions or thoughts of prayers for loved ones and neighbors and friends and enemies, whether you put their name in the bowl or whether you put your intention in the bowl mentally or physically, emotionally, we will be praying over those items. And I know that you have a specific thing you want to do for the healing, right? Kind of a meditation thing. Okay. Anyway, so at this point, does anybody have any prayer requests?
This is for my friend, Julie's husband's, my friend Julie. I knew her since I was like 3 or 4 years old, and her husband's sister has cancer, breast cancer and whatever, and she's in Iowa, and she asked me to please pray for him. So I thought I'm just going to send out the energy for that. The sister-in-law will heal quickly because they're really upset, and I thank you. Okay.
Many of us know our friend Harriet, who attends this church sometimes, and actually goes back to the 80s with Rev, and she's really sick. She's going to come through it, but she's in a lot of pain, and I ask you to lift Harriet up, please, for her highest good and whatever understanding spiritual processes that are going on. Thank you.
Anyone else? We always have many, many things to pray for, and we all have in our hearts what we need to pray for, and we will leave it at that. Let us sing our healing song, which is In the Silence, number 74 in Wings of Song. Namaste. Jim Barrett Namaste. Jim Barrett is going to introduce our speaker, Yanchy, today.
Good morning. I've known Reverend Yanchy for quite a while, and it's a pleasure to introduce him. We first met when he was giving these workshops at the Saint Lacska Monastery, and I can think of an example of 3 workshops I've been to, but there have been more. But one was about dreams, and these are like all-day workshops. One was about dreams, one was about Star Wars, and one was about Wizard of Oz. So they've been really interesting, and I just keep going back for more every time I hear that he's had one, and he's offering one. So I thought, well, this would be really a good fit for this church, because I've known he has really a diverse spirituality and diverse training. And another thing in common we have is he's a Qigong practitioner. So he lives in Hudson. Him and his wife Wendy live in Hudson, Wisconsin, but I knew he had this connection with his son Andrew living here in Duluth. So I thought, when Carolyn was looking for speakers, I thought this would be a great opportunity to see if Reverend Yanchy would come speak with us. So, Reverend.
Good morning. Can you all hear it okay? Okay, good. Well, one day, Gautama Buddha was sitting on a hill, his followers around him, waiting for him to impart his words of wisdom. But on that day, he just smiled, he picked up a flower, and he said nothing. And people were waiting, and finally, one person in the crowd smiled and laughed, and they were the only ones that got the sermon. That person became his successor. After Buddha passed on, that person was the leader of that Buddhist sect. It's kind of interesting. Looking at the flower. In the Christian scriptures, there's a story of Jesus sitting on a hill, and he says, look around at the flowers. He uses that same metaphor. And in the gospel version of that, it says, quote, which of you by worrying can add a single hour to your life? Walk in the fields and look at the wildflowers. Have you ever seen color and design quite like it? If God gives attention to the wildflowers, most of them never even seen, don't you think God will take care of you? Now, the gospel doesn't tell us what season it was, but I'm guessing it had to be a season when the flowers were there, so he could point them out. Maybe he picked one like the Buddha did and held it in his hand. And in most translations, it says, consider the flowers. And in the Greek, that would have really meant not just, we think of consider like, I'm going to mentally think about that. What does that mean? But in the Greek, it really meant, or in the Hebrew rather, with the language he spoke Aramaic, consider would have been meditate. Meditate on the flowers. Not just think about them, meditate on the flowers. Maybe he was thinking about looking at the flowers to consider how beautiful they were, to think about the beauty that was inside of us. The poet William Blake understood that concept. He wrote, to see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. We like flowers in this culture. We give flowers at weddings. We present flowers at funerals. But I'm old, so back when I was young, you'd bring a flower to your date when you were going to go out with them. Or if you were invited to dinner to somebody's house, you might bring a bunch of flowers to the host and hostess. So flowers speak of sympathy and love and caring. I facilitate a cancer support group, and several times the participants have said, some of them have said that they find the most peace, the most relief from their worries and suffering when they're out tending their gardens, tending their flowers. I grew up in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. I'll tell you, it took me a long time to get used to this weather. And I fondly remember that we had a orange tree in our backyard. And when the orange blossoms bloomed, it was so sweet and wonderful. And sometimes I would just go out as a kid and sit with my back against that orange tree and just smell the blossoms. And then those oranges would ripen and we'd have them. My job was to take one of those old-fashioned glass things and squeeze orange juice and try to get enough for my family to have one glass of juice each. I'm going to talk to you about a book. In 1911, Frances Hodgson Burnett wrote a book called The Secret Garden. Maybe some of you have read it or you've seen a film. There's been a few film versions of it. And it's about a little girl called Mary. And Mary is described as sickly, ill-tempered, and demanding. And she's orphaned from an outbreak of cholera that kills her parents, and they were living in India. She was sent to England to live with her only remaining relative, her uncle, Mr. Craven, who was a reclusive widower. And Mr. Craven was sad, and to escape his memories, his sadness, he traveled abroad quite a bit. Now one day, the maid, Martha, tells Mary about a walled garden, a secret garden, that the late Mrs. Craven had as her favorite place to go. And no one has entered that garden since she died. And Mr. Craven locked the garden gate, door, and hid the key somewhere, buried it. One day, Mary discovers the hidden key, and she tries to find the entrance, and she does find it, but it's overgrown with ivy. And once inside, she discovers that while the roses seem pretty lifeless, other plants still survive. Some flowers still survive. And she resolves to tend that garden by herself, although she wants to keep it a secret. She tells her little friend, Martha's 12-year-old brother, Dickon, and there used to be a phrase when I was a kid, "You're little Dickens." And so it sort of tells you, if you know that, what Dickon was like, kind of a little rowdy kid, troublemaker. And it says in the book that Dickon has a way with plants and animals. And the garden begins to come back to life. And Mary herself begins to blossom like a flower, losing her ill temper and her crabby ways. She soon discovers in the house Mr. Craven's son, Colin, who's a lonely, bedridden boy, and he's as disagreeable as Mary was. And he's isolated in a private part of the house, and his father shuns him because he reminds Mr. Craven of his dead wife. Mary and Dickon bring Colin outside into the secret garden in a wheelchair to see his mother's garden. And as the garden thrives, so does Colin. Now, Mr. Craven is traveling in Europe, but he hears the voice of his dead wife in a dream, telling him to come home. And when he arrives home, he finds himself drawn toward the secret garden. And as he approaches near, he's astonished to hear children's voices laughing inside the walls. And Colin bursts out walking, running towards his dad. And they take Mr. Craven into the secret garden and tell him everything. And when they return to the house, the servants are astonished by two miracles, Colin walking and his father looking happy again. That secret garden is sort of the centerpiece of that wonderful novel. And I think it's an allegory for Mary's and Mr. Craven's and Colin's inner secret garden, our inner garden, our soul perhaps, our lives. We're going through a difficult time in our nation right now, and those challenges shouldn't be downplayed, that's for sure. But like Mary and her friend Dickon, we have work to do to try to restore our nation's core values and freedoms. Do you remember the Joni Mitchell song? Some of you are old enough to remember her song called Woodstock. The chorus in that song is, we are stardust, we are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. I think the garden Miss Mitchell was referring to was probably the Garden of Eden from the Jewish scriptures. A 9th century Celtic Christian teacher, John Scotus Uragina, taught that the Garden of Eden wasn't ever a physical place in time and space. It's in our deepest dimension. It's the image of the beauty and blossoming inside of each of us. In the Christian scriptures, just before Jesus tells his followers to meditate on the flowers, he says, your eye is a lamp that provides light for your body. When your eye is good, your body is filled with light. And when your eye is bad, your whole body is filled with darkness. So we have to open our eyes to look for what goodness there is still around us and what beauty there is always around us. There's a retired Episcopalian bishop called, and he's also an elder in the Choctaw Nation. His name is Stephen Charleston. I don't know if you've ever seen his work. And he wrote, quote, the beauty is still there. You just have to look a little harder to see it. So much smoke, so many shadows, but it's there. The beauty first imagined by spirit, the beauty of our earth, the beauty of love, it is all still there in each of our hearts. We just have to try harder to see it. The Jewish prophet Isaiah told the exiled people of Israel how they could experience their inner garden. He says, if you remove the yoke of oppression from the downtrodden among you, stop accusing others and do away with mean and inflammatory speech. If you make sure that the hungry and the oppressed have all they need, then your light will shine in the darkness, and even your bleakest moments will be bright as clear day. And the eternal one will lead you in the way that you should go, nourish you, and give you strength. And you shall be like a garden, like a deep spring where water never fails. We're going to do something maybe a little unusual today. Got my plate here. In honor of my orange tree in Florida, we have a bunch of tangerines here. And we're going to have a tangerine communion. Now, communion, in this sense, has nothing to do with, the typical Christian view of communion, although that can be beauty too. This is about communion with Mother Nature, with each other, with the world, with everything around us. And I think when this orange is whole, you can see that it's all held together. It's all held together. When you see pictures of the Earth from one of those, whatever they're called around the Earth, the rockets, whatever. Come on, help me here. Thank you. You see that it's held with this not very big layer of atmosphere, just like this tangerine is protected and held by its skin. When you take that skin off, you see that there's lots of segments, but they're all held together. They're all community. They're touching each other. They're holding on to each other, which doesn't separate us from the fact that we are one of the individual slices here. But we're together with each other, helping each other. Thich Nhat Hanh said, each time you look at a tangerine, you can see deeply into it. You can see everything in the universe in one tangerine. This tangerine composed of many segments. So like a tangerine, we're going to use this as a symbolic communion to have a slice and think about our communion with each other, with the planet, with the plants, with the world, with the source of holy, whatever you see that as. So blessed are you, O source of life, who ripens the fruit of the earth. We acknowledge all the gifts from Mother Earth and you, the divine source. As we share this tangerine, let us realize our sacred unity. And as this fruit gives strength to our body, so give us grace to sustain our spirits. So I'm just going to walk around and share this. Ooh, it's even good. Sometimes they can be bitter. So think about that tangerine slice going into your body, sending nutrients. The smell, you can even kind of smell it as you eat it, going into your bloodstream, nourishing your blood, nourishing your body. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful, joins you with the dance of the universe. That's like I say it. We're going to do a little meditation. And at this end of this meditation, I'm going to be doing a chant with you. And it's going to be recorded. And it's just one line, which we just heard about from the prophet Isaiah. You shall be like a garden, like a deep spring where waters never fail. And you're going to just be repeating that. You can either chant along. I recommend that because something about chanting opens us up. Or you can just listen to it, or you can just hum along, whatever you want when it starts. So, warnings, it's about 5 minutes long. And sometimes when people first do a chant, they're like, oh my God, when is this ever going to end? Good time to get deeper into your meditation. So, I want you to relax, pay attention to your breathing. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, you can. I want you to try to breathe deeply into your belly. Let that diaphragm move so that you breathe as deeply as possible. And each time you exhale, release any tension you have in your body. Release any stress. If you feel tight muscles, let them relax. Each breath is a healing breath. Each breath is a holy breath. It's so interesting as you breathe and relax that, in many, many cultures, the word for breath and air and wind and spirit are all the same word, and life force. You're breathing in life force. I want you to use your imagination. I want you to imagine that you're sitting in a beautiful garden. Maybe it's your own garden. Maybe it's a garden you visited or Maybe it's just a garden your imagination is creating. And when you sit there, you can smell the plants around you, the flowers maybe, hear bird sounds, feel the wind and maybe hear it blowing through trees. And as you continue breathing in your beautiful garden in your mind, I want you to focus your breath in your heart for a bit. Pretend you're breathing into your heart. And imagine that your heart is actually a beautiful flower. And as you breathe to nourish it, your heart flower is absorbing the light, maybe from the divine light, your inner light. And allow that to warm your heart. Just sit and relax for a few minutes.
You shall be like a garden, like a deep spring where waters never fail. You shall be like a garden, like a deep spring where waters never fail. You shall be like a garden, like a deep spring where waters never fail. You shall be like a garden, like a deep spring where waters never fail. You shall be like a garden, like a deep spring where waters never fail. You shall be like a garden, like a deep spring where waters never fail. You shall be like a garden, like a deep spring where waters never fail. You shall be like a garden, like a deep spring where waters never fail.
Oh, take a nice deep breath into your belly and exhale through your mouth. One more time, and as you exhale, let your eyes open up again or wake up if you're sleeping. So. Thank you for letting me
All right. At this point, we're going to ask for our offering. If a couple people could bring forth the baskets. Ah, we have music for that.
I wanna live in a beautiful garden, wanna lie where flowers bloom. I wanna sing what the birds are singing, wanna fly just like they do, flying through my garden, flying through the trees, flying through my garden. I wanna stay in my beautiful garden, wanna play with the fallen leaves, wanna sail with the golden daylight, wanna dance like a summer breeze, dancing in my garden, dancing with a tree, dancing in my garden.
All right, Jerry, give us a prayer for our offering.
And so we all come together in the light of heart and spirit and love and peace and joy, not just here, but of the universe as well. We're all come together in a oneness of spirit that fills each of us, fills us with God's light and love and peace and joy, forever with you, around you, together we are one. Amen, amen, amen.
Thank you, Jerry. All right, so at this time, let us read our church affirmation, which is on the white card. All right. We totally accept the belief that God is in charge of the affairs and direction of Lake Superior Interfaith Community Church. As our thoughts of trust and joyful anticipation join in harmony with the thoughts of all members of this fellowship, we attract the right ministerial leadership and people to our spiritual community, and we are grateful. At this time, let's start making our circle, and Yanchy will be giving us a benediction.
I know the website said save the questions for later, but is this for community members that are established in the church or?
Anybody.
Everybody. Okay, I figured I'd ask. Didn't want that to struggle.
May the light of God surround us, the love of God enfold us, the power of God protect us. May the presence of God watch over us, and the peace of God be with us always. I want you to inhale love from the people around you, from Mother Earth, the universe, and exhale out that love to everybody in the world, maybe in other worlds, who knows. Thank you. Amen. Well, I don't want to flagrantly advertise, but.
Hey,
By the way,
everybody, he's got a book, too.
I did write a book, and it's called Finding the Way. I'm going to donate a copy. Do you have a library or something here at the church? I'll donate a copy. I'll sign this one. And if anybody's interested, I do happen to have some copies in the car that I can.
I'd like one.
It's okay. I do have square or cash is always fine.
Okay.
So yes. Thank you. I don't have that many. I have maybe 8 books. I don't know. Was that okay? I think it was okay.